DigiU is an ecosystem. We are focused on developing and funding projects in the field of artificial intelligence, and we consist of a tech company and a venture capital fund. For me and the team, this is a new and extraordinary experience. What we're doing now, we're doing for the first time, with heart and soul. We're confident we are far ahead of the curve. Over 130 countries are part of the project, with more than 20,000 registrations.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus. Coronavirus.
This is a rapidly emerging situation.
The first US case has been detected.
I want to make an official statement. As we have already shared, the entire DigiU project team has transitioned to remote work. And based on what we have seen so far, I believe we are working even more effectively. And I'm thrilled about this. As you know, our project has been developing successfully for 8 months now. 170 countries have joined our project, which is an excellent result. Today marks the launch of DigiU's first product, which generates profits for our investors. DigiU Wealth is a product that lets you earn money right now, and it will pay out the first dividends in December 2020, all within our company's first year of operation. If we have managed to launch a startup's first commercial product and distribute the first dividends all within 1 year, just imagine how much we can accomplish within this momentum in the next year and the years to come. We realized the need to launch our own projects. We assembled a team and decided to focus on cross-chain. We understood that 2021 will be the year of cross-chain technology. I'm the founder of DigiU Lab, our blockchain laboratory. Within this division, we are developing a cross-chain exchange project called AVA-Fi. I would like to share information about our venture capital fund. We have launched it successfully, and it's becoming one of the key parts of the DigiU ecosystem. This idea and vision of the word ecosystem was there from the beginning. And this is the mission we proudly carry: to make people the primary beneficiaries of modern technologies. A strategic session is an event where we develop short-term, mid-term, and long-term strategies for the company's growth. We are now at a point where we no longer need to prove to the world that we are capable of delivering. The company already has products that we are developing, and we already have a fantastic team, a team that's truly world-class.
Today's economic report from Russia. The economy has been hit with 16,500 sanctions targeting energy, finance, defense, logistics, aviation.
Welcome to 2023, a year that will be marked by the achievements of our venture capital fund. One of the trends is digital, the transition, or rather the digitalization of real-world assets. So where did the name Binary X come from? Binary represents the digital world, and X can be anything. Right now we're tokenizing real estate because we see huge potential in real-world assets. Spirit-made technology allows you to easily and quickly, in just 4 minutes, digitize a person's visual image and use it for any purpose that you define. Today, we are at the Mumbai Money Expo 2023, one of the largest exhibitions. We are showcasing our company in venture capital fund. Both Alexander E. and I were invited speakers at the exhibition, and we received a lot of positive feedback. We have 3 areas that we are preparing, and they are essentially ready to receive funding. The first is artificial intelligence. The second is our own RWA bank, which has already formed as a separate project. And the third is a marketplace for tokenized assets. AVA, together with Curve, is developing the cross-curve solution. In Novosibirsk, we hosted the first International Investment Forum, for the DigiU ecosystem, attracting partners and investors from around the world. We reviewed the company's achievements over the past 4 years. We are in Hanoi at ETH Vietnam 2024, Asia's largest blockchain exhibition. Ava and CrossCurve are the main sponsors of ETH Vietnam. We just finished our stage presentation and shared our insights with some pretty influential people. We are wrapping up the share sale process. June 30th, 2024 will be the last day to purchase a new share package. In the first 6 months of 2024, the number of commercial products in our ecosystem grew by 220%, and it continues to grow. The 2-day Money Expo India 2024 conference has ended. We had a booth from Webwise Capital, and we were invited to speak. I gave a presentation on the tokenized assets. The emergence of banks and marketplaces operating with tokenized assets is a done deal. They are appearing now, and there will be more and more of them. And for the past year and a half, we have been funding and developing our own projects in these areas within our ecosystem, and we are creating them simultaneously. We are attending InvestTrend, an exhibition focused on real estate and investment. Our team is here alongside Apata, and we are proud to be sharing a joint booth with Etaji Indonesia, one of the largest real estate agencies in the region. This high-level partnership highlights the demand for the technologies we are developing in Apata, from both a technological and commercial standpoint. It's actually a bit nerve-wracking to speak now, because on the eve of the company's 5th anniversary, this is essentially a report on what we have accomplished. Over the next day or two, we will be discussing what we have managed to achieve and what our current understanding is. Because obviously, over these 5 years, the ecosystem has changed. Our understanding of the world of finance and how things really work has also changed. In a way, 5 years ago, we were not exactly children, but I think where we are now is very different from where it all started. Dear friends, welcome. My name is Alexey Ognev. I am the CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. And just now, together with you, I was watching this retrospective video about how the past 5 years have been for the ecosystem, how we started and grew, how we set ambitious goals, how we achieved our first results, overcame a lot of various challenges, and how we built the company we are today. Also, what prospects we see for ourselves in the next 10 to 15 years. How, together with you, we are changing this world for the better. How we make sure that people are the main beneficiaries of all modern technologies. At this meeting, we will look at how these 5 years have passed. Most importantly, we will summarize the results of 2024, and it turned out to be an incredibly busy year. It started very powerfully. In the middle of the year, there were huge results, achievements, and product launches. The second half of the year was even more impactful, even more exciting, and today we'll talk about this. In the first part, let's try to look at the ecosystem, what it has become now, over these 5 long years that had flown by like a single moment. We will analyze each part of the ecosystem. Today, the founders will speak to you, share their feelings. Somewhere feelings and emotions, somewhere concrete results, numbers, plans, and most importantly, approaches. I sincerely ask you to listen carefully, to listen to everything in order to grasp the logic behind the actions, the sequence of actions. Because each of us, each member of the team is truly at the forefront of development, is passionate about their work and loves their work. 24/7, 365 days a year, we do everything possible, everything the best we can to the maximum for the development of the ecosystem, for each participant, partner, for each product. And it's this energy that allows us to be at the forefront. We are happy to share it. For you, probably the main reward will be that you listen carefully and grow with us, with the ecosystem. Expand your horizons, your investment portfolio, and your knowledge. And just like we once did, you slowly start to influence the world around you, the world in your environment, in your neighborhood, city, and country. With this approach, you can achieve great results. And this is also what we broadcast at our meetings. And in each of the ecosystem products. Let's get started. This is a small overview part of this video. The DigiU ecosystem. What is it, and how did it start? It started with a simple, clear definition that we still use and which is increasingly growing into the foundation of our large, joint project. DigiU is an ecosystem for the development and funding of products and projects in the field of artificial intelligence, blockchain, and other modern technologies. This definition has it all. Our key processes are development and funding. There are areas of our activity, high technologies, and the word ecosystem encompasses the approach we apply in our work and when launching our projects. And you can see that Ava has also become an ecosystem, and Launchpad is becoming one. Also, RWA projects are turning into a huge ecosystem, which already includes a large number of commercial products, and will continue to grow. That is, we do everything with a unified approach. This provides the solidity, confidence, and necessary resources for all projects, for the ecosystem, for each participant, and allows us to achieve such results. Let's look at what we have become over these 5 years. Let's recall the initial retrospective vision and look through it at the structure, the ecosystem map, the main parts, without which it would be impossible to create this result. The first key part is the technological foundation, what makes us experts in what we do. The AI lab, the blockchain lab, this is where we conduct scientific research, study trends, cutting-edge technologies, and make probabilistic forecasts. What will be in demand next? And where will everything turn? How to make our knowledge and products useful? That is, we build our forecast based on the continuous process of research and development. Here, we accumulate knowledge, which we then monetize. Because if you know something in advance, you can always somehow monetize it or use it to your advantage. Therefore, Alexander E. very often says this phrase: venture capital business is the legalized trading of insider information. This is also the principle that we use everywhere and on which we build everything. We rely on it, and it gives us such powerful results. Therefore, the second most important part of the ecosystem is everything that is responsible for business, monetization, attracting resources and using them smartly, for investing, searching for and selecting promising technologies that expand our technology portfolio, expand at the right speed, in the right direction when it's necessary. This is our venture capital fund, which emerged in the ecosystem as a business process and is now a fully fledged participant in the venture capital market. It now has huge connections, partnerships, contracts, and a portfolio of projects. It's a fund of funds. We will talk about this further, in more detail, more interestingly, More precisely, obviously, Alexander, the general partner of the venture capital fund, will do this. That is, the fund is responsible for the successful financial part, for the business, what we earn, and what makes us a successful commercial company. The next important part is, in fact, the management company, the team, which has been working diligently for 5 years, without days off, and not because we're such strict employers, but because everyone is passionate about what they do in the place where they are, and we are very proud that over these 5 years, we have managed to create such a powerful, close-knit team that takes on new challenges and tasks with burning enthusiasm, which is able to work at high speed in huge workload and the highest uncertainty, because things change very often. If we want to be at the forefront, we must be adapted, be very sensitive, responsive to changes, correctly direct ourselves, and achieve the result, the goals. For example, if you look at our content that we publish, read some news, you will see how much is happening. And this is only what we have time to talk about. Not about all the meetings, exhibitions, and not even about all the hypotheses, intentions, products. A lot is happening, and it's impossible to do this without an awesome team. Now I'm addressing the DigiU ecosystem team, the management company. This is the financial department, the HR department, marketing, the development department, those who provide support for all our products and services, the legal department, which will have a lot to do next year. We'll also talk about this later. These are also those who are currently creating this video for you and making sure that we meet with you on a regular basis. Those who translate our webinars. I ask you, the viewers, to leave some reactions, likes to all these people. There are probably already more than 60 of them, and the most exciting thing for me, at the head of this company, is that many employees have been working for 4 years already. We have those who have been with us since the first year. This is a long time, and this is a serious team. Firstly, professionals. Secondly, engaged. Thirdly, how else to achieve the results that we are talking about with you now? Only with an awesome, highly qualified team at all levels. You see that the products then turn out to be like this, since the approach, service, speed are also at a high level. Therefore, the management company is a huge and very important part of the entire ecosystem. And of course, the community that we have managed to create over these 5 years. And this year it has reached millions of people. Now we see a community of over 3 million. These are those who subscribed us, who follow our project's social media, those who play our Telegram applications, which emerge in the company's products. In the near future, we plan to launch such applications separately for DigiU in order to continue expanding our ecosystem, making it convenient and implementing the goals that we set this year, including the goal of increasing the audience, the goal of securing liquidity. That is, the community is the most important part. Also because in the modern world, a community is a must-have thing. Without committed people who follow you, support you, or in our case are also co-owners of the ecosystem, products and users. More than 100,000 people, and now even more, have made at least one paid transaction. These are huge and impressive numbers. We are very proud to demonstrate them when we conduct negotiations. We show where we have connections, where we can launch this or that product. Very often, after meetings with our partners, with our representatives from different countries, various projects are born. We start and try to develop them locally. In Africa, Vietnam, India, and Indonesia. That is, we develop all projects in partnership with citizens of these countries. They understand the company system, its structure, understand our approach, how we work, and with great interest, with firm confidence, they go and do the tasks that are necessary. For example, to launch a product in a particular market. We always encourage people to look wider and see how certain technologies that exist in the ecosystem can be applied in different parts of it. The main thing is to use a traditional business approach, the method of venture capital investment. Idea, its verification, creation of the first viable product, facing the market, testing the hypothesis, making paid actions, and of course attracting resources. The right resources. Because just money doesn't make any product successful. It's made successful by the right money, smart money, the right exit, the correct distribution of resources within the project, the right investors and team, and also the person who is responsible for a specific product and direction, despite everything, overcomes all the challenges which happen all the time. You know this for sure, because you live exactly the same life, in the same world as we do. Now, let's dive into each of the areas. Today we will talk about the technological part, about how these 5 years have been for Peter and Boris. They will also share some insights, and most importantly, they will talk about the results of this year, which was a busy one. We will hear from Alexander, who will also talk about this period. He will share with us something that will be new for some, share plans, a long-term vision, because everything we do, we launch for the long term. And Alexander is the one who looks as far ahead as possible and builds this path. We will talk with the community, with our representatives, and let's give them the floor and also congratulate them on the 5th anniversary of the company, on the completion of another year in the DigiU ecosystem.
Rất là nhiều cảm xúc ở đó. Chúng ta đã đồng hành cùng với ban lãnh đạo công ty, cùng với đại diện các quốc gia khác, cùng với cộng đồng của mình ở nhiều quốc gia khác nhau. Và sự phát triển của hệ sinh thái DigiU trong thời gian vừa qua rất là mạnh mẽ.
Je voudrais dire que DigiU est une start-up il y a 5 ans qui a commencé à impacter nos vies, impacter nos pays. Et après 5 ans, je peux dire que cette petite start-up qui a commencé est devenue une multinationale, une grande entreprise qui va changer énormément de vies. Il n'y a jamais eu une situation où une parole a été donnée, n'a jamais été tenue. DigiU, c'est la crédibilité, DigiU, c'est la parole donnée.
इन 5 साल एक ऐसा जर्नी था जो बहुत सारे ऐसे कंपनियां जो ये जो पॉसिबल हुआ है ये नहीं हो पाता, लेकिन इसमें हुआ है क्योंकि यहाँ पे काफ़ी सारे जो मैनेजमेंट टीम है और जो हम लोग जितने लीडर्स हैं और पूरे दुनिया में जितने लीडर्स हैं और टीम्स हैं, उन सभी लोगों की सपोर्ट की वजह से ये पॉसिबल हुआ है. आप लोग अगर नहीं होते तो शायद इतनी सफलता जो हुआ है 5 सालों में ये शायद नहीं होता, क्योंकि
Alors pour l'avenir, DigiU a plusieurs projets à l'interne qui permettent à l'entreprise de se développer rapidement. Nous avons plusieurs projets, nous avons Apato, Antipad, tellement de projets qui nous permettent d'évoluer plus rapidement dans l'écosystème.
Trong những thời gian qua mà tôi đã biết về tới DigiU thì công ty đã cam kết đúng với cái lộ trình đưa ra, và thậm chí tôi cảm thấy có một số lộ trình mà cảm thấy đi nhanh hơn so với thực tế. Và điều đặc biệt tôi cảm nhận thấy là DigiU đang thật sự là mang đúng hướng với những gì mà công ty đã đề xuất và trong sự phát triển trong tương lai tới, và tôi cảm nhận rất là tuyệt vời.
En 5 ans, je peux dire que DigiU a été très efficace Parce que, comme je l'ai dit, quand je regarde notre position de départ depuis 2019 et je regarde actuellement le chemin parcouru, je suis vraiment satisfait. Je suis satisfait pourquoi? Parce que quand je regarde en si peu de temps, ce que DigiU a pu mettre sur le marché comme des produits innovants, c'est vraiment du jamais vu. Et je pense que l'équipe DigiU est vraiment très efficace.
Trước đó thì DigiU đưa ra những cái tầm nhìn là sẽ tạo ra những sản phẩm về những cái kỹ thuật số giúp cho con người của chúng ta gần gũi hơn và có những cái sản phẩm về blockchain, về AI để thúc đẩy cái việc phát triển kinh tế hoặc là hỗ trợ cho các doanh nghiệp, các cá nhân tăng trưởng được cái doanh thu của mình. Thì nó là một cái ý tưởng nó tưởng như là rất là điên rồ, nhưng mà trải qua 5 năm thì chúng ta đã cho thấy được sự hiệu quả khi mà bây giờ cả thế giới chúng ta đều nói về blockchain.
Pour l'avenir, quand je regarde l'avenir de DigiU, ce sera vraiment extraordinaire avec un produit par exemple comme EWA qui vient résoudre un problème crucial. Je pense que nous allons nous comparer à Binance par exemple d'ici quelques années, puisque avec EWA, avec la cross-chain donc de EWA, nous allons rendre les mêmes services que Binance rend, mais de façon décentralisée. Ce sera extraordinaire.
The technological foundation is essentially what we were building throughout the first stage of development. So, our key focus at launch was accumulating technological expertise, building infrastructure, and testing the most viable and at the same time the most ambitious hypothesis. Our huge and absolutely correct direction, our achievement, was initially selecting the right team. We clearly understood that we needed people who maybe at that time were still unrecognized, but it was already clear that they were world-class geniuses in their fields. That's exactly why Peter and Boris have flourished so organically within our team. Now, they are obviously people of international significance. With the launch of the AVA project, with the launch of CrossCurve, we have seen confirmed traction. And this expertise allows us to look even further ahead, to accumulate this knowledge, which we strive to further monetize. Let's see how these past 5 years have been for them, how this year has gone. Because this is also a very, very important part. Listen carefully and leave your reactions, because each of them is watching. Each of them and us appreciate it when we see targeted support in the comments and messages. Now, as we celebrate the 5th anniversary of the DigiU ecosystem and summarize the year's results, we are at a point where AVA has launched its token, an event we have been waiting for a long time. And this real performer is blowing our minds with its partnerships, achievements, and essentially a high-quality product. A product that originated as an idea within our ecosystem and properly, as it should, went through the entire journey from idea to a project valued at $70 million that is going to be listed. Our next stop with you in December is the listing of this project. Let's give the floor to Boris and Peter. Let's listen carefully to the technological results and vision from these technological geniuses. Hello friends. Today marks the 5th anniversary of DigiU's launch. I would like to share with you what this journey has been like for me personally. I can say that for me, it has been a time of personal transformation. A lot has changed in my life. On the one hand, it feels like it was a long time ago. It feels like it was in a past life. On the other hand, it feels like this time has flown by quickly. I have been doing what I love, and there have always been many interesting tasks. I am a passionate and dedicated person. If an idea matters to me, I pursue it first and foremost. I think this is one of the key qualities of the entire DigiU team. How did it all start? I remember that initially there were many interesting IT tasks. We launched the first DigiU prototype almost from scratch with a minimal team. There were lots of exciting challenges. These included user verification, notifications, making the service work from any country, using different IP addresses, and so on. Then the idea of integrating cryptocurrency came up, and that was exciting too. Before DigiU, I had already been working on cryptocurrency for almost 2 years, and I had gained positive experience, including in investments. At some point, when DigiU was already standing firmly on its feet, the idea came up to create a blockchain lab. I saw the potential in blockchain startups. In fact, there were initially several ideas. It wasn't clear from the start exactly what we would do. I remember we had about 3 options to choose from. The first option was to create our own loan protocol with fixed rates. The second idea was something like a fair lottery, like a blockchain-based slot machine. The third idea was related to cross-chain technology. In 2020, there was the so-called DeFi summer, when major decentralized finance protocols launched on the Ethereum blockchain, and most activity was concentrated there. When I saw the launch of a new blockchain by the Binance exchange, called Binance Smart Chain, I became one of its early users. From the very first days, I saw how large flows of money, billions of dollars, were rapidly moving between these blockchains, and there were only 2 ways to access it, both of which were centralized and controlled. I realized that this was a highly demanded problem, moving assets between blockchains, and that caught my attention, since at that time, DigiU was creating DigiU Wealth, an asset management fund. It occurred to me that such technology could be useful for this fund, to seamlessly move funds between blockchains and make a good profit from it. That's how the idea solidified. We put together the first team. We discussed it with our partners, and they agreed it made sense. We built the first MVP, the first hackathon. Then we got some traction, and well, that's how we started this long journey. Over this time, we have learned so much about venture capital investments, about startups, about managing people and teams. We have learned a lot about technology too, as it is a very fast evolving sector. It has been fascinating, and it continues to be. There have been many ups and downs. There were critical moments when the DigiU community always supported us. For this, I am endlessly grateful to each and every one of you. Without you, we wouldn't have reached the point where we are today. What am I talking about? We have just completed a token generation event, DGE, and we are preparing for listings. We are finally launching our token because our protocol is, in a sense, complete. It now has all the essential elements to launch an economy around the token. Moreover, it's a great time to do this, because liquidity in DeFi has been at its peak since 2021. The key DeFi project tokens, like the one for the Curve exchange, whose founder is our lead investor, have experienced significant growth. New tokens are being launched. Recently, a record-breaking, the largest airdrop in the world was distributed, and it was also a DeFi project, Hyperliquid. I think it's a very good time to start. It's really exciting. And I understand that we have come a long, difficult, and challenging way, but there is still so much ahead. Looking to the future, I believe it's important to see beyond the horizon. I love to look ahead, and quite often, my predictions come true. What would we like to develop as Ava? And how do we see the future? I believe the future is in a decentralized finance. DeFi will become larger and will dominate more than centralized finance. I mean, within the cryptocurrency world, there are centralized exchanges and decentralized ones. I believe decentralized exchanges will become increasingly important because the technology is rapidly improving. We're solving one of the key problems, interoperability between blockchains. Right now, the easiest and cheapest way to do this is through centralized exchanges. But gradually, we are approaching a point where this becomes competitive. The technologies developed by various protocols are combining, and when put together, they can create a product that will compete with the best centralized exchanges. I truly believe in this, and everything will be available. Trading various cryptocurrencies from any blockchain, including Bitcoin, the true native Bitcoin. It will also include other chains unrelated to Ethereum, like the Solana Foundation, TON, and popular chains like Tron, which handles a significant portion of USDT transactions. I believe that we could potentially become a significant hub, a liquidity hub, through which liquidity flows will move between the largest blockchain ecosystems. We have all the prerequisites for this, and the sum of technologies we have developed over this long time. I also wanted to talk about DigiU. It's essentially an incubator, and the Ava company actually grew out of it. I am very grateful to DigiU for its contribution to me, to our team, and for the belief in us, despite all the challenges. There were 2 very difficult years during the bear market. For many projects, it was fatal, but with your support, we managed to get through the toughest moments. And I understand that the token launch is just the beginning. There is so much more to come. I mean, there will be many more new victories, many more milestones ahead. DigiU, thank you for your support and happy anniversary. Dear friends, I'm happy to welcome you. My name is Peter Tagunov. I've had the pleasure of getting to know many of you over the past 5 years. Today, I would like to share what we have achieved over these years. Let's take a look at the path we have traveled, give a brief overview of the results, and also look into the future for the next 5, 10, and 20 years for the DigiU ecosystem, the AVA ecosystem, and humanity as a whole. As DigiU's remarkable CEO, Alexey, teaches us, a digital identity is everyone's best friend. With this idea in mind, 5 years ago, we started our journey into the world of AI and blockchain. I won't repeat myself, but I will provide a brief overview of the path we have traveled. In the early years, we developed several AI-powered solution prototypes related to both predictive analytics and, as you know, DigiU Voice and DigiU Vision. We soon realized that the technologies available to humanity at that time were not good enough to build a truly independent digital identity. However, these experiments led us to a clear understanding that such an identity needs a society, an environment in which it can exist. That's when we turned our attention to blockchain technology. At that point, we could hardly have predicted where this would lead us. It led us to establish a blockchain laboratory and launch the AVA project. And eventually, we created not just a blockchain solution, but a full-fledged financial ecosystem built on blockchain and various crypto solutions. These solutions, in fact, are now forming the contours of a new financial system that extends far beyond AVA and DigiU. I'm convinced that this is having a significant impact on the entire blockchain and financial industry as a whole. To talk a little more about AVA, in the 3 years that have passed, it has evolved from a technological startup, testing numerous technical hypotheses, developing prototypes, and an MVP, into a fully commercial solution that now holds a market share and is expanding its presence in the crypto market. Over time, we have become convinced that we were absolutely right to bet on Curve. Initially as a technology, primarily as a mathematical model, and then on Curve as an ecosystem, as an existing business, a large community, and overall as the largest DEX in terms of stablecoin activity, which it remains to this day. At one point, Ava caught the attention of Curve itself. We proved ourselves as technology experts, and then, among other things, as technology partners to Curve, particularly in cross-chain liquidity transfer. There were more achievements along the way. One of the most recent ones is the integration with TON. This is the collaboration with TON, which you may have heard about. We can confidently say that Cross-Curve, as a cross-chain solution, will become one of the main exchange solutions for TON and for bridging the massive Curve and TON ecosystems. Overall, I think I am not exaggerating when I say this is a tremendous achievement. On Ava's development journey, we repeatedly faced significant challenges, but in the end, we actually solved problems that initially seemed unattainable and unsolvable. Now, as we can see, and as you also can verify on DeFi Llama or other trackers, Ava's project metrics are rapidly growing month to month, literally week to week, in terms of TVL, users, transaction volume, and so on. We are already seeing cross-chain integrations, B2B projects integrating into our Ava ecosystem. It's clear that Ava has now reached technological maturity and technological viability. We can now talk about its commercial future and success. As I mentioned, Ava is already taking its share of the market and expanding rapidly. It's clear that in the next 5 to 10 years, Ava, as a cross-chain solution, will take a significant share of the blockchain crypto market and will have a noticeable impact on the landscape of the new financial system, both within cryptocurrency and in broader ecosystems that merge traditional and neo-finance, including cryptocurrencies. This is a brief retrospective, the current moment, and a glimpse into the future. Speaking of the here and now, literally in the moment, I want to congratulate everyone on the TGE we have been waiting for, the Ava TGE, and the Ava listings. This is a much anticipated event, both within the Ava community and beyond. I'm confident that Ava's commercial metrics will continue to grow. Our technological partnerships will also expand. Many preliminary agreements have already been signed, and there is great interest from the market in using Ava and its components for B2B and B2C consumers. Overall, I would describe my expectations for the near future as very positive, as very exciting, and full of great opportunities that I think we will happily realize together with you. Once again, speaking about Ava, to which I have dedicated the last 3 years of my life, it's clear that our predictions for the development of artificial intelligence and blockchain markets are coming true. I mean from a technological standpoint, globally. Our hypothesis about predictive and generative intelligence, creating photos and videos with artificial bots, have clearly been proven correct. And I believe the next logical step for the development of AVA as an ecosystem and DigiU as an ecosystem will be the merger of artificial intelligence and blockchain, their mutual enrichment and convergence. I think at that intersection, we will see new, possibly unexpected products. But again, I am convinced that they will be successful. We will also see unexpected technological partnerships that have supported us throughout this journey. I'm also confident that we will see AVA as a successful unicorn company with a market capitalization of $1 billion or more. With that, I will conclude my brief speech. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to spend these 5 years with you. And I look forward to seeing how we move forward together over the next 5 years. Thank you, friends. Take care. Thanks to Peter and Boris. For me, these are the kind of speeches that give you goosebumps, because the results are impressive and the people are incredibly powerful. I think you understand what I am talking about. Let's move on. We are gradually shifting to business. Let's try to look at what projects and products we had, what we were focusing on besides AVA, the venture capital fund this year. What other ecosystems have we already launched and are gradually developing? The most important thing is that they are developing in the right direction, because the chances of success can be maximized. The first is the RWA project ecosystem. This is a huge body of work that we launched last year. We started raising very early seed funding, testing hypotheses, understanding that the RWA project market is a huge trend, and I think that's no secret to anyone now. The obvious advantage is the connection to real assets, meaning they are secured. The most sought-after secured asset that probably everyone who uses cryptocurrency has is a stablecoin. So what else can be tokenized asset? It can be real estate, jewelry, precious stones, and basically anything that has collateral. So even this fact alone is enough to pay more and more attention to this trend. The RWA ecosystem, RWA Bank, and RWA Marketplace, this is the research we have been conducting throughout this year. And, to put it mildly, we have been successful, starting with popularizing the idea. Back in 2023, we were among the first to mention it at a conference. Although it was the largest conference on money and finance in India. We were presenting these ideas from the stage. This year at the conference, we were not alone with this idea, but we were already speaking as experts, because we have results in commercial products. Of course, these projects are in the early stages, but they have a customer base. These are people who, for example, open deposits in the bank, which we launched in February. One of the obvious and very interesting results, from the perspective of those who follow us, is that 70% of those who open deposits and use our initial financial services choose long-term investments for 36 months. 70% of people. People ask, How do you do it? We also have such products, but only 2-week and monthly investments, locked deposits, are in demand. We are struggling with how to build long-term strategies. How do you do it? So, we tell them how we do it. We have been building a community for 5 years, communicating closely, and our people understand our values, understand our approach to work, and that's why we get this result. And we are very proud of that. The RWA marketplace is a huge ecosystem. It's probably even closer to the consumer, or we have managed to make it more understandable. Even the development in the Apato direction. We quickly launched a commercial product. We use the technology of the Binary X product, in which we invested. So it's a very close relationship as technological partners. Our task is to test the business approach. How do we do it? We introduce products. The first product is ready-to-move housing, a standard product for the real world, but not quite typical for the crypto world. When you buy $50 worth of legal ownership in the real estate property, what did we do? We launched it, sold the first property. Over the past 5 months, we have gathered more than 220 investors. This is on the Apato platform. And there are about 2,000 more people who receive tokens through snapshots and are receiving dividends. During this period, the property we sold generated almost $12,000. On average, more than $2,000 a month. That's a huge amount of money. So, in the ecosystem, those people who test these products with us receive dividends from the real commercial activities of the products we'll launch. Next, we expanded the product range matrix. We released real estate under construction as a product. Also, within a month, we sold apartments, worked on our mistakes. Now we are preparing to take the next step to exit this deal and to ensure that those who invested, who bought the property, and the property is under construction, well, when it's almost finished, we will receive a good offer and exit it. And that's it. The profitability is approximately 23% annual returns, depending on the entry and exit price, and so on. Then the next products. We understand that it's obviously necessary to work on our mistakes, because somewhere it's inconvenient. For example, to use Polygon chains. Not everyone knows how to use cryptocurrencies. Somewhere there is something else. It's necessary to create technological, including sublayers, some kind of interfaces that will make it easier for customers. No one wants to complicate things. The idea itself, to buy property in Bali with a single click, is an awesome idea. But in the modern world, it's not implemented with one click, but with at least 2 clicks, right? But for mass distribution, you still need this one button. Therefore, we have reached the next stage of development for both the marketplace and the bank. As we planned, this is going to happen. Last year, we said that they would merge somewhere at the end of the year. Now this process is gradually happening. We plan to implement crypto mortgages, loans, but we postponed this issue a little bit. We'll talk about why that is later. Not even why, we'll just explain that it requires a certain legal scheme and that it takes a little more time. Because if we want to launch everything correctly, if we want to enter this market with serious intentions, to take some place, some part of this market, specifically in these products, the legal packaging comes to the forefront. This is obtaining banking licenses, crypto licenses in different regions, connections with local banks as liquidity providers, as entry points, and as those who in fact support and promote these products at their level. Because it's interesting for banks, no matter how much they say they are high-tech, highly specialized. If they see that someone has already gone down this path, it's obviously economically beneficial for them to join. And then the negotiating positions and other things start. And obviously having banking and crypto licenses and everything else, and the traction we're already showing. Next year we will move up another level, or maybe even several levels, in the development of these projects. So, our next step will be as follows. This is what we managed to do, including after the conference in India this year and last year. There were several meetings where we were advised to do something like a real estate management trust, where we offer people not a specific property, which in essence, customers are not very interested in. They are interested in the annual rate of return and some legal and financial security. Confidence that, first of all, the real estate is correctly selected. Secondly, the management company is correctly selected. And a rate of return is guaranteed by many parameters. Basically, this is what Apato provides. Selection through a huge checklist, partnerships with top-notch real estate agencies, with the right brokers, developers. That is, there is an understanding of the market in a specific region, and then in all regions. We work very closely with one of the largest real estate agencies in Bali. I'm talking about Apato. Accordingly, we have the expertise and the properties are selected correctly. Then, when the bank and the marketplace are merged, we see a product that manages square meters, not a specific property, but square meters, and liquidity flows from the bank into the marketplace, thereby strengthening the positions, acquiring more properties, closing deals not within a month, as was the case with the first properties, but instantly, even in advance, without even putting them up for public sale. So there are many plans and the ecosystems are growing correctly, and they understand where to grow next. Seeing the demand for these products, obviously there are many earning strategies. That is, these are our own products, sales of some of these assets to some large players in this market, and so on. Therefore, next year we'll hear even more about these ecosystems and even more from the perspective of, in addition to the test commercial models that we conducted this year, which were successfully implemented by us, we'll hear about the legal packaging of these ecosystems and about integration, the conclusion of partnerships with some major players. Because the liquidity that we secure, for example, with our own resources into deposits, naturally doesn't flow as strongly as we would like. Therefore, it will be right to attract it through financial players of a different level. The RWA project ecosystem is an obvious trend and direction for next year. I once again congratulate everyone on the fact that over these 5 years, we noticed, developed, and successfully launched these two ecosystems into commercial operation. What else? There's the Launchpad ecosystem. This is a product that also emerged from our activities and the activities of the fund. Now, I will give the floor to the CEO and co-founder of this project, Aidar Sabirov. He will share how the last few months of active work and development of the Launchpad have been for him. Let's listen to him. Hi everyone, my name is Aidar Sabirov. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Antipad ecosystem. Antipad serves as a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 users. Earlier this year, in April, we launched our Telegram-based wallet and Launchpad. As unusual as it may sound, we're an ecosystem within an ecosystem. This became possible because we started adding other products to our group of companies, so to speak, such as the wallet, Launchpad, and virtual cards. Soon, we will also be introducing the option to buy and sell using credit cards. During this time, we have managed to grow our community to 700,000 users across all our social media and over 10,000 users in our wallet. We have successfully held 4 sales with a total volume exceeding $200,000. This period also allowed us to test and refine our business model. Our goal was to achieve a quick market entry within 3 to 4 months, and we succeeded. We have also built a team of professionals, including developers, testers, managers, marketers, and support team. During this time, we have strengthened our business model. We are currently in active discussions with numerous blockchains. As an ecosystem partner, we integrate into other ecosystems to help them onboard new users from Web 2. We have also introduced a game called Capitalist. It's an educational game where users can complete social tasks and carry out marketing activities for other projects. In return, we reward the capitalist community for their participation. As for the Launchpad, we have updated our business model. The new approach allows the Launchpad to generate even greater revenue while remaining a win-win solution. We're also collaborating with numerous influential market leaders and influencers. We are now at a stage where we are focusing on major ecosystem projects, such as the Solana Foundation, Fuel, a new blockchain, and many others like them. Each of these ecosystems contains over 100 projects that also need new users, and that's exactly where we come in. Next month, we will be hosting a sale on our newly updated Launchpad. The improved version is more accessible and user-friendly for everyone. You're welcome to join the upcoming project sale on our platform soon. I want to express my gratitude to all our partners and users. Thank you to everyone who uses our products, supports us, shares on social media, participates in projects, opens virtual cards, and makes exchanges within the wallet. We see and take all of this into account. In the near future, we will be introducing a comprehensive ranking system that tracks all user activities within the Antipad ecosystem. Users will be rewarded based on a tier system. The more active you are, posting on social media, participating in sales, and so on, the more rewards you will receive. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Every piece of feedback from you is incredibly valuable to us. We see it all and take it into account. Since our launch in April, we have reached a valuation of $2.5 million thanks to all the steps we have taken together. Over the next year, we plan to hold several sales each month, grow our Antipad ecosystem to 10 million users, and reach a valuation of $8 million. With the opportunities available to us and the resources at our disposal, we are confidently moving forward to achieve these goals. All of this has been made possible thanks to the support of the DigiU ecosystem and its members. Through this ecosystem, we gained our first testers, investors, and users. We received funding from the team, as well as access to a development team and legal advising. Additionally, the fund provided us with numerous contacts and opportunities. This model makes it significantly easier to launch and acquire initial users, which is often the most challenging part for most projects, essentially gaining a foothold in the market. I would like to congratulate all of us on DigiU's 5th anniversary. I wish you all good health, success, and even greater achievements for us to celebrate together. Happy birthday to everyone! We want to thank Aidar for these results and for the work he has done with the resources he had available. He is a really fantastic multitasking specialist who, like everyone else on our team, is able to launch, test, check, refine, draw conclusions, and basically move things to the next round of testing on a regular basis. This is the key thing our team does so well. This disciplined hypothesis testing and learning from our mistakes. Like I said at the beginning, we are working in conditions with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of responsibility, and a real desire to do everything really, really well. So thanks to Aidar, and let's move on. Now we're getting to a really important part that I know everyone's interested in. The DigiU ecosystem venture capital fund and the products that are already a part of it. This is the approach that's earned such an incredible reputation in such a short amount of time. And these are partnerships with various blockchain associations, various commissions, and with some of the largest ecosystems out there. We have given you glimpses of this from time to time, in webinars with Alexander, in little snippets here and there, and in some posts. I hope, I think, I believe that you are watching, reading, and that in this huge flood of information that's out there in the world, you are seeing what we are sharing. Because we are not doing all of this just for the sake of it. We are doing it, as I said at the beginning, with a strong desire to bring benefits at every level we interact with, at the business level, at the technological level, at the level of our partners, and at the level of the average person who is observing what we do. It's about benefit for everyone, and benefit from everyone. We see the contribution each person makes to the ecosystem, likes, reposts. That's the minimum you can do. There is also the work in the bonus center. All this creates a social rating. All of this contribution is being evaluated by us and will continue to be, and you will see this reflected in your investment portfolios. So, please try to do what you can to help us develop our ecosystem, increase its capitalization, its value, and the worth of each product along with us. Now, I'm really excited for what Alexander is going to share with you. The opportunities, results, and numbers you will see, and where we are aiming with our products. You will learn how AVA affects the fund, the ecosystem, and how it all connects. So listen carefully, very, very carefully. Let's get started. Hello, dear friends. This is Alexander E., General Partner and CEO of the Pantera Capital Venture Fund. First of all, I congratulate everyone on the 5th anniversary of the DigiU ecosystem. Today in my speech, I would like to share the results of the Venture Capital Fund, what we have achieved so far, the challenges we are currently facing and addressing. We will touch on the fund's projects, discuss AVA and other projects. We will also talk about our vision for the future. First, I will try to avoid complex terms in my speech and focus on straightforward facts and concrete plans. To start, I would like to explain what a venture capital fund is and what our venture capital fund focuses on. A venture capital fund is a company that invests in startups at different stages, starting from the earliest stage when there is only an idea and an initial team, and progressing to Series A and B rounds, when the company has grown into a substantial business. But funding is needed for further development, scaling, promotion, acquisition of competitors, and so on. Our fund focuses more on early stages, in the Series A stage, when there is already a product that has entered the market. The areas our venture capital fund specializes in include blockchain technologies, artificial intelligence, and related fields, that can enhance or connect with blockchain and AI. As for the strategy of our venture capital fund, it is as follows. First and foremost, we operate and are already functioning as a fund of funds. This means that we invest through other venture capital funds that have long been active players in this market and possess significant expertise. These venture capital funds are often focused on specific markets or niches. After all, blockchain is a vast sector that includes DeFi, NFT, GameFi, and so on. Each fund has its own extensive expertise, unique network, and access to deals that are typically unavailable to regular or other funds. For example, some of the funds we invest through focus specifically on projects from the United States, while others specialize in markets like China, Asia, and so on. The first major benefit we gain is access to deals that are hard to come by, even as a private investor or venture capital fund. The second benefit is expertise. This means we exchange knowledge, which helps us diversify our risks. We rely not only on our own insights and analysis, but also on the expertise and analytics of professionals in specific industries and markets. The second aspect of our fund strategy involves direct investments in projects. This year, we have already completed 5 direct investments and plan to close another 2 or 3 deals by the end of the year. Another key part of our strategy is the venture studio or venture builder plus accelerator model. As a fund, we interact with numerous projects that share their ideas and insights on market development. From them, we gain valuable market analysis, learn about competitors, and receive information about plans for mergers, acquisitions, and integrations happening within the industry. We also get insider information, such as which team members might be planning to leave or which founders are interested in joining a particular project. Additionally, we exchange insights and opinions with other venture capital funds. This flow of information enables us to stay ahead of trends, generate our own ideas, and understand what will be in demand in the near future. With this approach, we can launch and fund our own projects. This is the core idea behind the venture builder and accelerator concept. It allows our strategy to span multiple directions, which we consider highly effective. When we share this approach with experienced market players or major potential fund investors, they are often impressed and say, "This is an incredibly well thought out strategy. It's a strategy we have refined over years, and now we're putting it into action." Even structuring a separate company dedicated to the venture capital fund. When it comes to our achievements and the work we have done, we are already operating as a fund of funds. This means we are now investors in other venture capital funds. Additionally, we have signed agreements with top players in this market. While I can't disclose their names due to the NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, I can assure you that these are leading industry players. In the near future, we will officially become their investors. Secondly, we are already engaging in direct investments. As I mentioned earlier, we have closed 5 deals this year, and we plan to close 2 or 3 more by the end of the year. As a venture studio, we are also launching our own projects, including the Antipad and Capitalist ecosystems, as well as Ava Crosscurve project, which many of you are already familiar with. We will discuss Ava Crosscurve further today and provide updates on its progress. First, I would like to congratulate everyone on the TGE for the Ava project, which successfully launched its own token. This is a significant milestone for us as a fund and for the DigiU ecosystem. Ava is a world-class project, now ranking among the top 10 largest cross-chain solutions on the market, and it continues to grow rapidly. A listing is coming soon, and we'll talk more about that later. For now, I would like to return to the topic of our fund and share a few examples of why investing as a professional venture capital fund is far more profitable and effective than investing independently. First, a venture capital fund has significant capital and can participate in 100 deals or invest in 100 to 200 projects, which helps diversify risks. This is the core principle of venture businesses. 80% of the projects will fail, or 50% may close down, while about 30% will do something, though not necessarily achieve great success. The remaining 10% may turn out to be successful, and out of those, only 2 to 3 projects will be extremely successful, delivering returns of thousands or even tens of thousands of percent. This is how the venture capital business works. At its core, as we understand it today, venture capital is essentially the legal trade of insider information. What does this mean? It means that by possessing more information than the rest of the market, beyond what is available from open sources, we gain insights through our interactions with projects and exchanges of opinions with other venture capital funds. As a result, we often know in advance what is likely to happen. For example, which team members will join, what integrations are on the horizon, or which major investor is planning to invest in a particular project. This increases the accuracy of our decisions, actions, and investments. For a typical investor, it's difficult to implement this. And that's the second distinction. A private investor doesn't have enough capital to invest in many projects. Secondly, they lack the expertise and network in the market to gain these kind of insider information. Moreover, the quality of deals is higher for a fund because it has access to opportunities that a private investor often can't get. Even many venture capital funds can enter some great deals, let alone private investors. To give you a better understanding, let me share a couple of examples. For instance, there is a deal we're currently working on. There is a company in the RWA sector focusing on tokenizing real assets, which we believe is creating a very serious and promising project. We learned about it quite early. We have strong communication with the team, and therefore, we have information such as the fact that the vice president of BlackRock, one of the largest investment firms in the world, managing $11 trillion, and that's an enormous amount of money, has shown interest in the project and expressed a desire to become a co-founder. Also, the founder of a fairly large hedge fund, managing $150 million, has also expressed interest in becoming a co-founder of this project. This team has now become not just investors, but co-founders. I'm aware of the plans that will be implemented moving forward. This project will now attract top-tier venture capital funds from the United States and Asia, but at a completely different valuation. For example, we are entering with a valuation of $20 million. We know that in 3 to 6 months, that valuation will rise to $50 million and later to $100 million. This means the value of our portfolio will grow by 2, 3, 5 times. This is just one example. How else can this work? We were investors in one of the meme coins. Right now, there is a wave of popularity surrounding meme coins. First, we understand how it's done from the inside, because we invest. Second, things didn't go exactly as planned. We didn't lose money, but things didn't go according to the team's plan. They have done well, though, and didn't give up. They said, "We will launch a game, and thanks to this game, the token will rise." And we became co-owners of the game, even though we didn't invest in it. I have many such examples. For instance, we are investors in the AlphaMind Launchpad, where the public round for our project, EVA Crosscurve, took place. We have the ability to combine projects, create collaborations, and secure discounts and better terms for our projects. All of this makes our portfolio more efficient. We try to help every project in our portfolio. Plus, we know the details of what's happening inside. This helps us understand how to best assist, when to invest, and on what terms. Let me briefly share our current understanding of the market and what we have achieved so far. I'm confident, based on my conversations with many venture capital funds, that not all venture capital funds understand the market the way we do. Not all of them have access to the deals we have, and not all venture capital funds have the partners we do. This is something we can be proud of. It's a significant achievement. In addition, we have already joined several blockchain associations and plan to join a few more by the end of the year. These include associations in countries like Vietnam and Indonesia, as well as larger regional ones like those in Asia, the Emirates, and the European Blockchain Association, among others. We also plan to join various commissions in these associations, such as those focused on implementing blockchain technology in government sectors. This, once again, gives us an inside understanding of the market, what is happening at the level of individual countries, what laws are being planned in this direction. As a result, it allows us to make more informed decisions. It's also worth highlighting the extensive work done on the legal side. We spent a long time selecting the jurisdiction in which to register our venture capital fund. We consider the United States, Dubai, the Cayman Islands, and the Seychelles, carefully considering the pros and cons. Now, the decision is almost finalized. Why was this process so complex? Because the world has changed a bit. Some jurisdictions are better suited for investors from specific countries, or for working with projects from certain countries, while others make it more difficult, and vice versa. That's why we have to make a comprehensive, well-thought-out decision. This is a complex issue that we spent several months on. We plan to officially register our venture capital fund starting in January. Now, let's talk about the projects in our venture capital fund, starting with the AVA project. First of all, I want to congratulate everyone on the launch of the AVA token, which will soon be listed on cryptocurrency exchanges. AVA has come a long way from an idea and a startup to a global project. It's now among the top 10 cross-chain protocols in the world. We see great prospects. We are in talks with many blockchains and projects, and everyone wants integrations. People recognize us and want to partner with us. AVA is a global project that anyone can use. You can find information about AVA in public sources, such as the DeFi Llama portal. Currently, the project ranks 6 in liquidity and is in the top 10 by trading volume. The total trading volume that has passed through AVA exceeds $1 billion. In the last month alone, it was over $350 million. This is a significant increase, and we plan to keep growing. Daily trading volumes are now around $25 to $30 million. These are large numbers. By comparison, the market leader, one of our main competitors, has daily volumes of around $60 million. So, the difference isn't that big. If you look at the number of transactions, Over 1 million transactions have already passed through AVA cross-curve. In terms of daily transactions, AVA is in the top 3 or top 5 for cross-chain transactions worldwide. These are impressive numbers, especially considering that AVA only recently launched the product, and the active market phase is just starting. Timing is a crucial factor. AVA is doing everything on time. We are launching the token at the right moment, as the market is experiencing a revival, and we expect it to keep growing. Obviously, this is the perfect time to launch the product, to actively and aggressively bring it to the market, and to launch the token. So, congratulations to all of you. We have different strategies for the AVA project. We know what to do if the token drops, stays flat, or rises. The tokenomics of AVA are designed for long-term growth in token value. We understand how it works. We were involved in developing this tokenomics. That's why we plan to hold AVA tokens. Let me give you some numbers. The AVA project will list with a valuation of $70 million. If we look at the biggest competitor in this market, Layer 0 with Stargate, their valuation is currently around $5 billion. The second largest, Wormhole, is valued at $3 billion. Axelar is also a competitor, but we consider it a smaller one, with a valuation of about $1.5 billion. AVA's current valuation is $70 million. At the same time, AVA is the most secure and efficient liquidity solution in the market, and it's also the fastest. That's why AVA's cross-curve product is better than the products of the market leaders. Now imagine that, for example, the fund invested when the valuation was $20 million. The listing and trading on the open market will start with a $70 million valuation. If we reach the valuation of the leader at $5 billion, there is something to compare it to. These are not made-up numbers. That means a 250-fold increase from the price we entered at. Even if, as a minimal target, we reach a $1 billion valuation and make AVA a unicorn, an over $1 billion company, that's a 50-fold increase. And according to our strategy, after a 50-fold growth, we can start to exit these investments, even if the token price drops. If the price drops, we'll be ready to buy back the token at a certain price. The fund is prepared for that. If the project stagnates, we will earn through staking, participating in the DAO, and voting for rewards. If the token price rises, well, we'll profit from that as well. So, once again, congratulations to everyone. I think this is a big event. A lot of work has been done in the last 3.5 to 4 years. The idea came out 4 years ago, and active implementation started 3.5 years ago. Now imagine, this is just one project in our venture capital fund portfolio. We now have over 15 projects, and by the end of the year, there will be about 20. Moreover, we have projects from a venture builder. They may not be as large scale, but they have a huge potential. Projects like the RWA Bank, RWA Marketplace, the Antipad ecosystem, and Capitalist. These are projects with huge potential that could themselves become ecosystems. Because AVA is already a cross-chain ecosystem. We are creating the AVA Foundation, an organization that will work with developers, issue grants for projects, using cross-chain capabilities. More and more solutions like these are emerging. I consider this a major achievement. I congratulate everyone again. Now, let's talk about the fund's vision for the future. In a nutshell, the global financial system is structured in a way that makes being a project very difficult. The survival rate of startups is very low. Most startups, 80 to 90%, don't make it. For your project to be successful, many factors need to align. This is a good team, the right timing, and a ready market. Sometimes you have a great idea, but it's just not the right time and the market isn't ready for it yet. But in a few years, for example, it could become mainstream. Other time, the opposite happens. You fail to act in time, the trend passes, and competitors emerge who have gotten ahead. Another factor is running out of money. This is the most common problem that projects face and the main reason why they shut down. The second most common problem is founder conflict. At the start, when the project is small, everyone is driven by enthusiasm. But as things succeed, one founder thinks the company should go one way and the other thinks it should go another. So, running a startup or a company that was once a startup and has now become a functioning business is quite difficult. It's not an easy path, but for those who make it, it's a great success. At the next level, so to speak, in the food chain, are venture capital funds that invest in startups and provide them with funding. Or there are shareholders who buy company stocks and, in doing so, also give liquidity to companies. But again, where do venture capital funds get their money from? For example, from hedge funds. A hedge fund is a management company that invests part of its money in venture capital, while using the other part in other ways. Another source is family offices. These are often large businessmen, royal families, or oligarchs with enormous wealth who invest their money. But who has the most money? That would be various pension funds. For example, the government pension fund of Norway, which manages trillions of dollars. What did Norway do? They discovered oil, and instead of spending all the oil revenue, they put it into a fund for future generations. So, it's essentially a pension fund. Norway's fund owns a huge amount of stocks in different companies. For instance, it owns 5% of Coca-Cola. But pension funds often do not invest directly. They invest through companies like BlackRock, which we mentioned earlier. BlackRock is the largest investment company, managing $11 trillion. Or Warren Buffett's company. It owns 10% of Coca-Cola, along with shares of Procter & Gamble and other massive companies we all know and whose products we use. In essence, these investment companies provide money to hedge funds, which in turn provide money to venture capital funds. And the venture capital funds provide money to startups. So, in the end, who owns it all? The ones with money. That's basically how the global financial system works at the moment. Can we change it? Is that our goal? Frankly, no. So, what are we aiming to do? We are already involved at the level of company projects and startups, and also at the level of venture capital funds. Thanks to our fund of funds strategy, we're also involved at the next level, the level of those providing money to venture capital funds. Investors in our venture capital fund, in a sense, move up the food chain with us. We allow private investors with certain capital to take a different position in this game and gain a deeper understanding of how things work. Our plan is to continue moving upwards So, welcome to join us if you understand what we are doing and resonate with our approach. We will continue doing what we are doing. We are confident that next year our portfolio will have not just 15 to 20 projects, but many more. That number will grow exponentially. We are inspired and plan to be in this for the long term. We see huge prospects on the horizon for the next 5 years. And of course, our understanding of the market now is not the same as it was 5 years ago. Back then, we approached some issues a bit naively. Now we are communicating with the top players in the industry and we understand how everything works. We have information that others don't. And we are moving up. Once again, congratulations to everyone on the 5th anniversary of the DigiU ecosystem. I believe it has come a long way and achieved significant results in these 5 years. Just imagine the growth dynamics over the next 5 years, the next 10 years, and beyond. That's all from me. Thank you very much. All the best. There is nothing more for me to add here. Everything Alexander said was as organic, as accurate, and as to the point as possible. So I can only applaud him and encourage each of you to write to Alexander somewhere. For example, send him a private message. Of course, if you have his contact information. Write in the chats. You're watching now, and believe me, we are in the chats with you. And we see practically every message from each of you. It's not like one of us doesn't read it or does not see something, and so on. So write everything you think about our work, about the fund, about the approach, and about the achievements and figures that Alexander, Peter, Boris, Aidar, and our partners from different countries talked about today. It's really cool. But as we say, that's not all. This is just the beginning. Let's take a look now at the key moments of how we finished last year and achieved our goals this year. I remind you that at one of the webinars last year, a certain figure was mentioned. This is the plan for the projects we will invest in, which will appear in the fund's portfolio, in the ecosystem. 10 projects for 2024. We started the year with a small result relative to the current one in 2023, when we had 5 projects. What was the plan we set? There were 5. We needed 10 more projects. Let's see how we implemented this plan and how the numbers we are proud of came to us. In May 2024, there was a reporting video, a webinar, when we launched the marketplace and the launchpad. The preparation period passed and MVP products emerged. In May 2024, we had 16 projects. We already fulfilled the plan. And we asked ourselves, what will happen by the end of the year? What will actually happen next? Let's see what happened next. Now we have 23 projects in our portfolio as of the end of November 2024. And, as Alexander says, we will most likely be able to make a few more deals. Accordingly, we will further increase the number of products. And the more products there are, the more likely it's that 1, 2, 3, or maybe even more unicorns will appear among them. That among these products, the fund will make successful exits. That if these are the products that are incubated and appeared in the DigiU ecosystem, they will bring profit. For example, such as DigiU Wealth, the RWA ecosystem, and so on. Then all this adds up to our overall financial result. And if we continue, if we speak in clear numbers, Then in 11 months of this year, the number of commercial projects in the ecosystem has grown by 460%. For me, as a numbers person, this is an outstanding result. It's just a super result. We are very proud to tell you about it, to sum up the results. And we say that, perhaps, we will manage to launch several more infrastructure projects. It makes sense to follow the updates, because the last 2 weeks of this year are not a pre-New Year's time for us at all. This is a parade of the end of the year, the time for Ava's listing, the development of successes in this direction. This means that all projects will also be at their peak, and we'll try to use this energy to launch something else, to invest somewhere. So stay tuned for updates. I think we will be able to do it. We will of course be the first to tell you all about it. What else should be underlined so obviously? This is directly the concept of the company. It was written in 2019. I don't know if anyone read it. Maybe someone read all 62 pages. Alexander and I wrote it together. Our colleagues, Peter and Boris, also wrote the technical part. In total, 62 pages. This is the initial work that we relied on, and which was also extremely important. In this document, in our ecosystem development concept, we specified the date, 2025. We indicated that in this year, the first product of the ecosystem will enter the public market. We understood that this was the ultimate deadline. We will do something and it will go into the public domain and work. There was no laboratory yet, no cross-chain, or anything else back then. What do we see in fact? That the TGE and listing of the first ecosystem product, which is going public, is happening in 2024. That is, we are acting and moving ahead of schedule. We are making sure that all the goals we have set are met. I congratulate you once again and emphasize this, so that you can clearly see this connection for yourself. Said and done. There is no other way. Once again, I congratulate everyone on the Ava TGE, on the upcoming listing. Stay tuned for updates. Soon you will find out about the date, about the exchanges, and we will definitely need support. The ecosystem, the Ava team. You can show great respect just like you always do and support us. In general, we are very, very happy. And we understand that we have managed to test this model on one project. We already have several more projects developing according to the same model, and there will only be more in the future. With this included, I congratulate you both on the results of this year and on our first 5 years. Let's take a look at the statistics, because obviously, to understand the result, it's important to see the numbers. How, with what resources, we did what we did, achieved the result we achieved. Here is the summary of the key statistics for us for these 5 years. As I said, the audience is more than 3 million people. Now it's also growing rapidly due to the development of products. I think it will soon exceed 10 million. We will set approximately such, or maybe even more ambitious, audience goals for 2025. The number of people who have made at least one paid transaction in our products has already exceeded 100,000. And by the end of this year, there will be even more. Accordingly, we will see what happens next and get close to the first million of such people who perform paid transactions in the ecosystem's products. This is a very important parameter from the development perspective. There are more than 22,500 registered investors in the DigiU ecosystem alone, co-owners. In June, we took a major step. We completed the public sale of shares. We did a huge amount of work on how, firstly, to complete sales. Secondly, how to ensure that the financial safety cushion accumulates in the company in order for us to have the opportunity for further development so that we can work on our mistakes. Accordingly, these 22,000 people, they made, in my opinion, in the team's opinion, one of the best decisions in their lives when they once decided to become co-owners of the DigiU ecosystem. You see the successful approach that we continue to implement. There are more than 180,000 registrations in the account alone, and they continue to grow. How is all this expressed in numbers? Accordingly, based on the results of July, all the recalculations that we carried out, we can say that at the moment we have sold more than 7 billion, almost 8 billion shares, actually bought out, and another 730 million are in installments. This figure is fluctuating, and at the moment, if you look at it in dollars, it's around $1.8 million, not such a large amount in installments. Some people pay, some don't. That is, we do not force anyone. We just do our job, show results, and you make decisions, and so on. So, we have sold somewhere around 8 billion shares. How much is that? In total, over 5 years, we have attracted and sold shares in the amount of $15.6 million. For the venture capital market, for the results we are showing, to put it mildly, it's not the most significant amount if we look at it from that angle. Obviously, there is a hidden partner commission here, which reaches about 30%. That is, in fact, somewhere around $10 to $11 million went to the development of the ecosystem, to building everything that you see. From the realization of this figure, the efficiency of work and the result are simply off the charts. I don't know how it could have been done differently. What could have been done better with such resources? And it's great. It's also mind-blowing in terms of the efficiency of the team, the efficiency of the decisions made, and the management of all of this. Huge respect to all of us, and including me, and everyone who supports us and who is a co-owner of the company. And that's not all. During this period, we managed, firstly, to pay dividends 6 times. That's almost $340,000. And that's not all. The most important thing is that during this period, we have credited almost $1.8 million in bonuses. And the most interesting thing is that this is a fluctuating value. We will now monitor the AVA listing and the listing of the following projects and see how it grows. What makes sense to observe here? Obviously, when conducting consultations with lawyers and dealing with the reorganization of the company, which we will talk about further, we were increasingly told, why are you dividing these two amounts? These are assets that can be combined together. If we allow such a combination, then you will see that more than $2 million at current exchange rates has been paid out by us in the form of bonuses plus dividends. That is, we are moving in this direction and giving such results over 5 years. And what will happen next? When will the next projects be unpacked? When will more products be launched? The very principle of rewarding any actions in the interest of the company, it will always remain. because it's effective, correct, and reflects our mission, the mission which states that man is the main beneficiary of the activities of all modern technologies, nothing else. We have already lived in a different world. We need to build a new next level of awareness, that a person understands who is the main one and that the main thing is him, that everything is in the interest of person. Obviously, this approach remains. In particular, it's expressed in the fact that we track the maximum number of useful actions that you perform in the ecosystem, financial discipline, participation in some projects, and the bonus center. This is very important. If you didn't participate, obviously this is not the best decision you can make for the ecosystem. So pay attention. That is, these figures are the figures that we constantly look at, which we record. There are many more of them, but these are the figures we are proud of. This reflects our efficiency, the correctness of decision-making, and the interest in us as a company at all levels. Let's move on. We smoothly move into the legal part, because there are a lot of questions related to the reorganization, to the burning of shares, which we carried out this year, and in fact, which should move to the next stage next year, and we should reach the ultimate goal. Before that, let's talk about KYC. This is also an important figure. The first thing to pay attention to, what we managed to achieve this year. We have 78 countries open for passing this procedure. This number of countries covers 90% of those who are subject to KYC. That is, most can pass, and at the beginning of next year, we will open it up for everyone else. What is important to see here? Out of 22,500 of our co-owners, only 6,454 people have applied and passed KYC. For us, this is, to put it mildly, not a very good result. I will explain why. Because the users we know about are also an asset for our audience. This is a very important part that affects the reorganization of the company, the choice of the correct jurisdiction. Now we will talk about this further. In particular, this is an asset. That is, when we say that we have 183,000 people registered, obviously when registering, you receive gift shares. That is, we potentially have 183,000 people who can pass KYC. Do you think that for our products, for our ecosystem, and perhaps even for the upcoming listings of our products, a customer base of 183,000 people with the KYC asset is significant? Just imagine, we come to the exchange and say, we have only 183,000 KYC confirmed people in the community. What kind of conditions do you think they will offer us? I'm not putting pressure on anyone right now, of course. I'm just highlighting points for you that may not be obvious to you, and you might think that it doesn't matter. This year, we set up this service in such a way that the application processing speed increased fivefold. There are no delays. Plus, we do it ourselves. We store everything securely and work efficiently the way we need to, and do not have additional costs. Because if you reach some providers, you will see how valuable this product, resources, and everything else is. Obviously, this also affects the capitalization of the company, at least indirectly, and according to the signs that I mentioned. What does this mean? I'm appealing as much as possible to everyone who hasn't yet applied for KYC, assuming that maybe everyone will start doing it now. I think we won't set a deadline yet, but at least until the end of the second quarter of the next year, we will decide on a deadline for passing KYC, and will promote this topic in every possible way. Therefore, now there is time. Do not postpone KYC. Go through it. Submit an application. The process is very fast. Of course, this will further affect, as I said, the structure of the organization. We plan to complete it already at the beginning of next year. The more KYC passes, the better. But I want to say right away, now we see the final deadline somewhere in the middle of the next year, but perhaps something will change and they will shift, so do not delay. This is an asset for the company. This is the right approach, the right legal shell, which we will pay maximum attention to next year. If you look at how the world is developing, that is all cryptocurrency, all venture capital technologies, all projects. They are moving into the most legal state. Everywhere there is KYC. Everywhere there are checks. And the more open and transparent you are, the better. This whole story, that there is some value in anonymity, is going away. There is value in the correct legal approach to all the products that we make. In fact, next year we will develop this value and these tasks. So please go through KYC. It affects the company, each of you, and the security of your investments. I generally do not understand why you do not do this. That was the first thing. Second, of course, next year, after the completion of the reorganization, some kind of interface will be added to the account, which, among other things, will simplify the process of inheritance of both accounts and virtual heirs. This is all also necessary. We will add this when we see some active position from your side. So, burning of shares and reorganization of the company, at what stage are we now? At the beginning of the year, we announced the upcoming share burn procedure. Obviously, this is related to the reorganization, because the company no longer needs the 200 billion shares that were there at the start, and the number of shares needs to be brought to understandable business values. The first stage is 100 billion shares. This is what we have already done, thereby increasing the community's share. It now stands at almost 10%. As we see, almost 10% has been bought. Previously, it was around 2%. Our target value, when we complete the reorganization processes, is a team share of at least 40%, 20% a reserve fund, and in fact, a community share of up to 40%. This is the target vision we are working towards. We are moving forward precisely due to the fact that our legal department had a huge number of tasks related to this last year, and there will be even more next year. What have we globally achieved in terms of the reorganization procedure? Several jurisdictions have been selected. The form has been chosen. That DigiU is an international company. But no clear decision has been made yet, because big geopolitical processes are taking place in the world, and it's unclear where it's best to stop. We are looking for the safest jurisdiction for the company, for the co-owners, and for doing business from this jurisdiction, so that the presence of the company in this jurisdiction meets all the requirements for doing business. What are we leaning towards? The challenges that we face are clear. This is, as I have already said, the political situation, the need to obtain licenses, the need to open the right bank accounts and conduct activities, not in some kind of hybrid model, as it's now, but in the most transparent and legal model, plus maintaining the same work efficiency. That is, there should be cryptocurrency-friendly jurisdictions, venture financing-friendly jurisdictions, and those that will protect the interests of as many co-owners as we have now. The choice that we settle on and finalize, I think, by the end of the second quarter of 2025, even a little earlier, will be presented as a list of jurisdictions. These are familiar, common jurisdictions, such as the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Vanuatu, Belize, and Seychelles are a little more, so to speak, exotic, but as open and friendly as possible for the form of business that we see. So I repeat once again, you need to pay more attention to KYC. We continue to work on the reorganization. We are carrying it out in a calm mode. Fortunately, we do not have any such super restrictions, races, or any negative stories associated with this yet. Therefore, in the first half of 2025, we will complete this process and choose the most reliable and correct jurisdiction. Based on everything we have now said about the results of this year, about some results of 5 years, the most attentive can already identify and see some goals for 2025. This year is becoming very important for us, as we approach in the most charged state in terms of products, competencies, team, and everything else. And the market is still on such a rise, and as it will continue, there are such expectations. Of course, we are preparing for everything that can happen. Everything is unpredictable. We have already accumulated such experience. Therefore, we provide for different scenarios. Based on this, obvious goals are already emerging, including, I think, if you look closely, for you too, goals for 2025. This is the completion of the reorganization of the DigiU ecosystem, complete legal packaging, opening the very international company that meets all the parameters and requirements in the necessary friendly jurisdiction, allowing you to conduct business in the areas in which we do it and with the approach with which we do it. Obtaining banking and crypto licenses is also a big process. We will have to do this in different countries, in different regions. It's clear that there will be some sequence of work, but we see that this process will become one of the key ones in 2025. We are beginning to study it, research it, and prepare for it. This, of course, will all affect different products, the fund, the RWA ecosystems. The development of these RWA ecosystems and their transition to the next level in terms of legalization is also another goal for the next year. Capitalization and development of the Launchpad ecosystem. As Aidar said, we are aiming for $8 million and maybe more. Everything will depend on many parameters, but we are going there. The development of ecosystems, the launch of new areas, new products in the bank, in the marketplace, tokenization of other assets, testing hypotheses. This is all what you will see in 2025. This is an expansion of the product line of both banking products and marketplace products, including obtaining crypto licenses. We already anticipate partnerships on the horizon. Of course, all this is impossible to do without selecting a team for each of the projects. As we said, we are building teams, but the lack of resources is not only related to money, understandable resources, but also to human resources. That is, the teams are understaffed. These are the teams of RWA projects. These are the teams of the Launchpad ecosystem, and the teams of the fund, development, and everything else. That is, the goal is to continue the process of forming a high-class team of specialists, professionals, who share the values and approach of our ecosystem. It's hard to even say which goal is primary and more important. You look at each goal and think, you need to do this first. We will do everything in parallel and achieve results in the same way that we do. Web-wise and its legalization, Alexander E. spoke about this in detail. An important goal is also the independent fundraising, which we set for 2025. The business goal that we see in front of us is on the surface. When everything is on the surface, you don't always think about it and notice it. I appeal specifically to you. We have been thinking about this for a long time. this decision has been made. Obviously, the DigiU ecosystem should be the main liquidity provider of the fund. That is, it's the right business model. The indicators that the fund has been giving to its clients for 5 years are an increase in the portfolio by 3 to 5 times, and with unicorns and correct exits by 10 or more times. As of having such a not just a friendly fund, but one that emerged from the ecosystem, we should, in all fairness, be the main liquidity provider, be the biggest and the main one. Obviously, we shouldn't be alone. Then it's wrong. There should be many funds there. It's both reputation and connections. But such a business approach in which we occupy a key position and distribute most of the fund's success, I mean from successful deals and exits, obviously, it should be us. Therefore, we will do everything to take the best places in such an equal, competitive struggle, because obviously, no one will wait for us there. We have such a goal. They will not wait in terms of places being taken, because the fund provides the necessary, correct conditions, and the faster we get the best seats, the better. That is, the future is emerging in such a clear and understandable form for 2025, for 2035, even for 10 years ahead. In other words, we can now see, in fairly tangible terms, the products, the portfolio, the results, the capitalization, the market volume that we can occupy with our projects, and some reputational value that will make sense for all of us. Who do we want to move forward with? And how does this manifest? What specific actions does it take? Obviously, over the course of 5 years, we have accumulated a large number of co-owners of the company. And obviously, among you there are those who are committed to the company, and those who follow, develop, and support us in every possible way. Contribute at the level of financial discipline, participation in competitions, participation in the life of the community, simply liking, sharing, and recommending our various projects that we have, and navigating them. This is one type of co-owner. There are those co-owners who came and don't really understand. We are one of many products in their portfolio, and they have a completely different goal, different strategy. The global goal, from the perspective of co-owners, is to have the most committed community. The stronger it is, the smaller it may be in terms of co-owners, but the stronger it is in terms of understanding the company, long-term strategy, values, and prospects in the form of dividends, bonuses that we pay, financial prospects. First of all, I'm interested in long-term relationships with people. We are building a long-term company, and when you do that, the question of finances arises, so to speak, as a given. We're not talking about the fact that there will be enough money for everyone now. There will definitely be enough for everyone. We are now talking at a different level, at the level of commitment to values, at the level of commitment to results, and about other motivations, thanks to which we work and thanks to which such companies are built that remain for centuries. We are building just such a company. Reflecting on this, we obviously had and quite clearly formed the idea of conducting this buyback, which we recently announced and which stirred up our community. And now, let's discuss this briefly. We do everything as honestly as possible, as openly as possible, in the interest of the company and everyone who is a co-owner of the company. This is the very procedure for conducting a buyback. You have time to think, weigh, and understand. Are you ready to sell your securities to the company? During December, you have the chance to make a decision. and submit an application for buyback. The earliest investors from 2019 to 2022 participate in it before the X11 procedure, before the first big share distribution. Applications are accepted until the end of December. The profit that will be offered after calculating the individual rate will vary from 10 to 200%. Everything will depend on the financial situation. These figures are given for a reason. These percentages are based on certain calculations, on certain studies. What is the stumbling block? And what is the decision based on? We buy back the entire portfolio. Among those who apply, there will be a certain individual rate, which will consist of various parameters. I will tell you about them a little later. The entire portfolio of DigiU shares will be bought back. This is a key and mandatory condition that will allow us to ensure consolidation. To everyone who is not interested in our goals and who is not ready to go into the future with us, we guarantee a buyback, a high return on invested capital, and maximum gratitude for the participation and support they have provided us. This is an important decision for the company, and it is important at different levels. Now we are talking about the level of commitment, about the level of sharing goals, which is important to us, because this is a long-term relationship, long-term support, and you can make such a strong will decision. And we will ensure that exit of those people who do not share, do not value, and are not ready to go further with us. Therefore, investors from this period, you have the chance to apply. Looking at it in numbers, how many people is that? During this period, 14,700 people fall into the buyback. This is more than half, given that we have a total of 22,500 people. If you look at the dollar equivalent, it's potentially $7.5 million for buyback. What is important to understand? For us, this is not only an ideological decision, which I talked about. This is about a long-term partnership. Those people who are with us share our values. These are the people we will rely on, and the people we will reward. As we have done for everyone for 5 years, this is an ideological level, a level of values, but it's also a business level. It's beneficial for us, understanding the company's prospects, to conduct a buyback, even with such a large profit as we guarantee for you. This is a serious decision, a business decision, a strong will decision, but it's also calculated on a calculator. We understand that by buying back shares from you at this stage, we obviously see the path we will take, the prospects, long-term planning. We understand that, of course, the company will make good money on this in the future. This is an informed, motivated step from the perspective of economic calculations. So I see no reason to hide this from you, because you are already guided by this and you understand it. We need to talk about this honestly and openly. What else is important to know? Everyone will have an individual rate, which will naturally consist of parameters such as purchase date, financial discipline, participation in the company's life, and other parameters. This individual rate will be offered to you in February. And in February, there will be another opportunity to either agree with this rate or disagree and refuse the buyback. By providing, perhaps for someone, tough conditions for 100% buyback, we still give the opportunity to think it over several times before making a decision. In general, we do this, including in the interest of the company, in order to be able to calculate everything and correctly provide a financial burden. So make a decision. Those who are with us, we will continue with you. You see the goals, plans, outlines of the company we are building. And I personally have more and more energy and a great desire to start and do it as soon as possible. Those who are ending their relationship with us, here is the opportunity that now exists. Until the end of December, you can get into the buyback. Of course, this will not affect your other assets, some tokens, bonuses that you received, all this will remain. We are talking about the base asset that allows you to own everything in the DigiU ecosystem. We are buying back this base asset 100%. So I congratulate you. This is important news, significant for the ecosystem. This has been heard many times from the community, and now this process is starting. What else is important to understand? Remember everything we talked about today, about assets, about technologies, about the fund, about the fund's portfolio, about the AVA launch, about promising projects. Obviously, the key point that is important for you to understand is that this buyback is secured by the company's liquid assets. We are doing it, understanding that there is money in the company's liquid assets. The token portfolio, the intellectual property portfolio, MVP solutions, the community, connections, some infrastructure, and other things. They are calculated significantly more than the maximum possible amount of this buyback. Therefore, I will repeat and emphasize this thesis, which we explicitly broadcast and pronounce once again. This buyback is secured by the company's liquid assets, and our task is to properly distribute the financial burden. Therefore, the calculation for the buyback itself will take place following the results of the second quarter of 2025. But I am inclined to believe that there will not be so many who want it. Although for the company, probably, from the perspective of our life with you, in such a capitalist society, I would probably like as many people as possible to buy it in order to earn more later. Therefore, make a decision, weighing everything. We are not pressuring you, but a choice must be made. Thus, we see that over the 5 years of the DigiU ecosystem's operation, various associative series can be drawn. For example, for me, this is a service infrastructure, similar to the work of an airport, which we built over these 5 years. And together with you, we boarded a plane at the airport and started to take off, and have already taken off. That is, the separation from the ground has occurred. And the key thing to do now is to step on the gas and gain the altitude we want, 10,000 meters. That is the height where the air is thin, where there is less fuel consumption, where there is less chance of encountering birds, getting into a thunderstorm, or something else, where all main flights pass in maximum safety and with maximum efficiency. You can board in one city and arrive 15 to 18 hours later in another city, without transfers or landings. Imagine this efficiency. And for me, now this process is obvious. Now we're taking off, and our task is to gain altitude, where there are conditions in which we can move from point A to point B over distances of thousands of kilometers. That is to become the company that we want to become together with you. That is, now the key task is not to stop stepping on the gas. That is, we cannot not do this. We cannot slow down, because at this moment everything will end. If we talk about the main financial goals, the main business goal for us is to become the main liquidity provider of the fund. If we talk in numbers, then this is about $15 million. This is the goal, to raise this money for the fund during 2025. It's clear that this amount is raised in parts. We have part of it in installments, which we talked about, $1.7 to $1.8 million, part in strategic reserves. We clearly understand that the combination of these decisions, the combination of ideological significance, financial commercial potential that we see, it doesn't allow us to stop. We just need to run faster, and this is the right, the most correct decision. Therefore, for 2025, we set such a financial goal for attracting investments from DigiU in the amount of $15 million to the fund. This will allow us to provide the value of the main liquidity provider. And this is correct from the perspective of long-term development. To achieve this goal, in December 2024, we are resuming the sale of DigiU shares. The goal for 2025 is $15 million, which will provide us with the place of the main liquidity provider in Webwise Capital, and all the financial prospects of this decision and partnership with the fund. This is the right business decision from an economic point of view, from a perspective point of view, from the point of view of doing business in the venture capital market, the main liquidity provider of the fund. We will achieve this goal using proven methods. We will rely on the foundation we have already created, which we have told you about throughout this film, and which is now explicitly represented by the DigiU ecosystem, products, business connections, community, and the technological part. This is what we have created together with you, and what allows us to look ahead with confidence. All these methods, all this background, all this infrastructure, a huge community, technological expertise, the business part, the management company, all this allows us to look ahead with confidence, set these ambitious goals, and understand how we can achieve them with you. And according to a good tradition, in honor of each birthday of the DigiU ecosystem, we give gifts to the community, we give gifts to every co-owner and everyone who together with us has been creating this result for 5 years. Right now, we are resuming sales, and everyone who wanted to purchase, wanted to increase their portfolio, wanted to once again get the opportunity to become a co-owner of DigiU, and having already done it deliberately, understanding the prospects, having studied the project and seeing the reliable result of the work of the entire team, using the AVA example, using the example of the fund and other products, you have this opportunity right now in your account. In order to underline the significance of this date, the 5th anniversary of the company, we, as I said, have gifts for you. A bonus of 25% is available to everyone in the first 5 days from the resumption of sales. The bonus will decrease, so make a decision quickly. You can purchase a new package. You can increase your installment plan. You can close the installment plan early until the end of the year. And with each targeted action, you will receive a 25% bonus. I congratulate you on this incredible result, on the huge plans and goals that we set for 2025, and I suggest that everyone step on the gas together and not stop, and work as selflessly as we do to achieve the goals of the ecosystem. I thank you for this year. I thank you for these 5 years that we have been building together with you. This incredible phenomenon as the DigiU ecosystem, as our foundation, as our technological foundation, as our committed community that shares goals and understands that a person should be the main beneficiary of all modern technologies. Thank you for this meeting. It was a great honor for me to be with you today, to talk about our achievements with you, and to be the head of the DigiU ecosystem throughout all these 5 years. Thank you. All the best.